I'm 34. I live in Austin. I work as a UX designer at a startup that makes apps for medical communication. Life is stable. I'm in a relationship with a girl named Sarah. We've been together for 4 years. We're planning a wedding. Not now, but in a year. Everything is going well. Or so I thought. And then a girl I didn't know wrote to me on Instagram. Hi, Alex. My name is Lila. I'm 17. I know this is strange, but are you my father? I didn't answer. I thought it was a scam. Or a mistake. But she sent a photo. Not of herself, but of a woman. Her mother. And I recognized her. Her name was Maria. I knew her 17 years ago. We dated for 3 months when I was at the University of Chicago. It was serious, but didn't last long. She moved to Seattle because of her father's job. We broke up amicably. The last time I saw her was at the train station, when she was getting on the train. She said, "All right," but she didn't. I tried to find her a year later, but it didn't work. Then I lost interest. I thought she had moved on, and now her daughter writes to me that I'm her father. I didn't have any children. Neither did Sarah. We didn't even discuss it seriously, because I always thought, if there's a child, I want to know. And now the child has found me. Lila wrote, "Mom always said that you didn't know about me, that she didn't tell you because she didn't want to ruin your life. But now she's sick, and she said, if you want to find your father, look for Alex R. in Austin." And I found it. You were the same. I checked the photo. You look like her, but, like me, she sent a comparison. I am 19. She is now. The same location of the mole near the ear. The same curve of the nose. The same way of looking away when you smile. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know if it was true, but I knew I had to check. I called Maria. The old number didn't work. I found it through social media. Wrote, "This is Alex. Your daughter contacted me. What's going on?" She answered 6 hours later. "I'm sorry. I didn't want you to find out like this. But I'm sick, and I don't know how much time I have left. Lila has the right to know her father, and you have the right to know that you have a daughter." I didn't answer right away. I sat there. I looked at Lila's photo, at her eyes, at my eyes, and in that moment I realized, this couldn't be a lie. Not that detailed, not with that kind of story. But I couldn't say yes, because I didn't know if it was true, and I didn't know if I was ready for what would happen if it was. I called Sarah. "Are you okay?" she asked. "No," I said. "I need to tell you something." And I did. About Maria. About Lila. About her saying I was the father. Sarah was silent for a long time. "And what do you want to do?" "I want to do a DNA test," I said. "But I don't know how it will affect you. On us." "This isn't about me," she said. "This is about a child who might be yours. If you don't get it checked, you'll live with this question forever." I nodded, although she hadn't seen it. "Thank you," I said. The next day I sent Lily a request. "I want to take a DNA test. Not because I don't believe it, but because I want to know the truth. If you agree, I'll pay for everything." She replied a minute later. "Yes, please." And now I'm waiting. Not for the result, but for what will happen if he says yes. Because if it's true, I haven't just lost 17 years. I've lost a child, and she's lost a father, and I don't know if I can fix this. We sent the test through a service that works with international tests. I paid for expedited processing, 72 hours. Lila took the test in Seattle. I took it in Austin. The system merged the data. 3 days later, an email arrived. Results available. Match rate, 99.97%. Conclusion, high probability of paternity. I didn't open it right away. I sat with my phone in my hand, watching the screen as it flickered. Not because I was afraid, but because I understood. One click and everything would change. I would no longer be just Alex, a UX designer, a future fiancé. I would become a dad, even if she doesn't live with me. Even if it starts now. I opened it. It was all there. Graphs, allele comparisons, the lab report. The phrase I've been waiting for and dreading. Based on DNA testing, the person Alex R. is the biological father of Lila M. I read it 3 times. Then I closed my eyes. And for the first time in years, I heard. The heart is not beating for me, but for someone who has probably been waiting for these words for 17 years. I called Lila. "Did you get the results?" "Yes," she said. "I saw it. And how do you feel?" "I don't know," she said quietly. "Joy. Fear. Shame. I always thought you would reject me. What are you saying? That I am none of your business?" "You're my business," I said. "Even if I didn't know about you. You are my daughter, and I don't want to lose what's left." "Mom's in the hospital today," she said. "She's worse." But she wanted me to tell you. I'm sorry. I want to protect you. But now she has the right to know you. I'll come, I said. In 2 days. I want to meet with both of you. Thank you, she said. She'll be happy. We talked for another 10 minutes. She told me about school, about her dream of becoming a photographer, about how her mother had said about me. He was kind, sensitive, and he loved me. We were just young. I promised to come. I said I bought a ticket, that I wanted to know everything, that I wanted to be there. And then, silence. The next day I wrote, "Hi, when will we meet?" No answer. An hour later, "Everything okay?" None. The next day, the same. I call Maria. The number is not answering. I called the hospital in Seattle, gave her name. The operator said, "Maria Mendoza?" "Yes, she is with us. But she's in intensive care, and she cannot take calls right now." "And her daughter?" "She is here. But the family asks not to be disturbed." I sat down. I could not think. 3 hours later, Lila answered. "Sorry, I could not. Mom fell into a coma. The doctors say she may not wake up. And I don't know what to do." I didn't hesitate. "I'm already at the airport," I said. "I will arrive today, and I will not stop until I see you." She started crying. "Are you really coming?" "Yes," I said. "Because now I'm not just your father. I'm your support, and I'm not going to disappear again." 6 hours later, I was boarding a plane. In my bag was a photo of her, a DNA report, and an old box I found in the closet. In it were letters from Maria that I thought I'd lost. But they were there, and one was unfinished. Date: October 23rd, 2007. First lines: "Alex, I'm pregnant. I don't know how to tell you. But," and then nothing. I didn't know if I'd make it, if she'd wake up, if I'd be able to tell her, "I'm here, and I love you, and our daughter." But I knew one thing. I wasn't going to miss another moment. I arrived at midnight. The hospital was dark, except for the reception area. I walked through the corridors. The signs pointed to the intensive care unit. My heart was pounding like I had run a marathon. Lila was waiting on a bench by the door. She had a hood, her arms around herself. When she saw me, she stood up. She didn't run up. She didn't hug me. She just stared. "It's you," she said. "Yes," I answered. "I'm here." She came up and hugged me. Not like a child, like someone who had been waiting for this for a long time. "She hasn't woken up yet," she said. "The doctors say it could be a few days. Or never." "And you?" I asked. "How are you holding up?" "I don't know," she said. "I graduated from high school yesterday. I had an exhibition of my photos. But I didn't go. I sat here and waited for her to wake up. And now you're here. And I don't know what to do next." I took her hand. "Now you're not alone. And I'm staying. Not for a few hours. For as long as it takes." We walked in. Maria was lying in bed, hooked up to monitors. The quiet beep-beep that measures life. She had changed. Weaker. Older. But still her. The same eyebrows. The same hands that held me when I first said I loved you. I sat down by the bed. I didn't know what to say. So I said what I should have said 17 years ago. "Hi, Maria. It's me. And I know about Lila. And I'm not going to lose her. And you either." Lila was standing by the door. She was crying, but she was smiling. An hour later, the doctor came. He said, "She has a severe stage of an autoimmune disease that has not been diagnosed for a long time. Now, complications, brain swelling. The chance of waking up is 40%. If she wakes up, cognitive impairment is possible." "But can she hear?" I asked. "Maybe. Many patients in a coma react to the voice of their relatives. Then I will talk." I stayed. Sarah called in the morning. "I heard you arrived," she said. "How are you?" "I don't know," I answered. "But I'm here. And I can't go back now." "I understand," she said. "But I want to know, what does this mean for us?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "All I know is that I can't leave them. Not now. Not after I've already lost 17 years. I'm not asking you to choose," she said. "But I want you to know, I'll wait. But not forever." I hung up the phone and sat down by the bed. "Listen, Maria," I said. "I don't know if you can hear me, but I want you to know. I'm not mean. I didn't come here to accuse. I came here to say, thank you for giving me my daughter. And for you to know, she's safe, and she won't think her father abandoned her." Then she turned to Lila. "Where do you live?" "In the apartment with my mother," she said. "But the landlord says that if the rent isn't paid in 2 weeks, they'll evict you." "I will cry," I said. "And if necessary, we will find something else. You will not be alone." But you have your own life, she said. A girl. A job. Yes, I said. But now I have another life that needs me. And I am not going to choose between them. I will try to be in both. She looked at me. Do you really think of me as your daughter? I do not, I said. I know. And if you let me, I will be your father. Not a perfect one, but a real one. She nodded. And in that moment I understood. This is not the beginning. This is a continuation of what should have been 17 years ago. And now I have to fix what I did not do then. And the first thing I did was go to the bed, take Maria's hand, and say, we are here, and we will not leave. 6 days passed. I didn't leave the hospital. I slept on a bench, ate from a vending machine, talked to Lila, read aloud to Maria, old letters, her favorite poems, even excerpts from her diary that I found in a bag by the bed. She didn't say anything. She didn't move. But the monitor showed that her brain was responding. Sometimes, a slight movement of a finger. Sometimes, a change in the rhythm of her breathing when I said, it's me, Maria. Alex. I'm here. And then, on the morning of the 7th day, she opened her eyes. Not suddenly. Slowly. As if coming back from the depths. The doctors came in, checked her reflexes, asked simple questions. What's the date today? What's your name? Where are you? She didn't always answer correctly. Sometimes she confused me with another man. Once she said, you're not Alex. You're the one I ran away to Canada with. But then she looked at me, long, attentively, and said, you're here. Yes, I said, I'm here. Have you seen Lila? Yes. She was here. She went home, but she'll be back. Does she know? Yes, I said, and she knows that you love her, and that I'm her father. She fell silent. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I didn't want to, she whispered. I didn't want her to feel unwanted. I thought that it would be better if she didn't know that you didn't know, that she wouldn't be waiting for you. But she was waiting. I said, and now she knows. Her father didn't abandon her. He doesn't know. She nodded, and at that moment I understood. She remembers. Although not everything. Although with interruptions. But she remembers the main thing. A few hours later, Lila came. When she saw that her mother had woken up, she stopped on the threshold. She didn't believe it. Mom, she whispered. Maria looked at her. She recognized her immediately. My girl, she said. My beautiful girl. Lila ran up and hugged her, carefully, as if she was afraid to break her. She cried. Me too. And then Maria looked at me. Are you really here? Yes, I said. And I'm staying. And your girl. We talked. She understands what's important now. Not for my sake, she said. I don't want to ruin your life. You're not destroying it, I said. You're expanding it. The doctor said she'll go through a long rehabilitation. She might not get all her memory back. She might have problems with her speech, with her orientation. But she has a chance to live. A week later, she was transferred to a rehabilitation center. I stayed in Seattle. Sarah called. How are you? Better, I said. She woke up. But now everything is more difficult. Why? Because now we have to decide what to tell. Maria doesn't remember everything. Sometimes she thinks we're still together. That Lila is our child together, who's 5 years old. That we live in Chicago. And what do? I don't fix it, I said. Not always. When she asks if I love her, I say yes. Not because I'm lying, but because it was the truth. And because it's important for her to hear it right now. But it's dangerous, Sarah said. You're creating an illusion. And when she remembers, it'll be even worse. Maybe, I said. But I can't say, no, we're not together. No, I'm not your husband. No, I haven't lived here for 17 years. When she looks at me and says, I've waited so long for you to come back. But that's not fair, she said. It's not about fairness, I said. It's about humanity. Sometimes the truth isn't what happened. It's what helps you survive. Sarah was silent for a long time. I don't know if I can live with this, she said. But I understand why you do this. I didn't answer. I just said thank you. And that evening, when Lila went home, I sat by Maria's bed. Do you love her? She suddenly asked. Who? Sarah, your girlfriend. Yes, I said. I love her. But are you staying? Yes. Because what's more important now is you and Lila. Don't ruin your life because of us, she said. I don't want my daughter to lose another father because of me. You're not ruining it, I said. You're giving me a chance to be who I should have been a long time ago. She smiled. And at that moment I realized, I can't bring back the past. but I can fix what's left. And I decided, I will be here, not as a man, not as a hero, but as a father, and as a person who chooses love, even when it is difficult. Sarah arrived 3 weeks later, without warning. She just showed up at the entrance to the rehab center, her suitcase, her eyes tired, and her coffee in her hand. "Hi," she said. "I came to see you." I didn't ask why. I just hugged her. "Thanks for coming," I said. We sat on a bench in the garden. She told me how hard it had been to stay in Austin while I was here. How she looked at our upcoming wedding, which now seemed like a plan that might not come true. How she was afraid I had lost myself in it. "I don't want to lose you," she said. "But I don't know if I can be the other one." "You're not the other one," I said. "You're the one I wanted to build a life with. I don't want to lose that. But I can't leave them." "What now?" she asked. "Are you staying here? Are you moving?" "I don't know," I said honestly. "But I know I can't choose between you. I want to find a way for you both to have a place in my life." An hour later, she met Lila. Not like the other woman's daughter, but like a teenager who's afraid of losing her mother, who's insecure, who's trying to keep a photo album because she's afraid her mother will forget who she is. "Do you take pictures?" Sarah asked, looking at her work. "Yes," Lila said, "especially of people, when they don't know they're being looked at." "You're talented," Sarah said, "and you're very strong." Lila nodded, but in her eyes was, "I don't want to be strong. I want my mother to be healthy." After the conversation, Sarah said, "I don't know if I can get used to it, but I see that you're doing what you have to do. And if you want, I will try to find a place here. Not as a mother, but as a person who loves you." I couldn't speak. I just hugged her. Maria got better slowly. Some memories came back. Others didn't. One day she looked at me and said, "You're not my husband, are you?" "No," I said. "We were together a long time ago. But I am Lila's father, and I am here because she needs me." "And your girlfriend?" "Yes. She is here too. We're trying to figure out how everything will go from here." "Don't ruin your happiness because of us," she said. "I don't want my mistake to ruin another life." "This is not a mistake," I said. "This is life, and I am not losing. I am finding." A month later, Maria was discharged home. The doctor said she will be able to live independently, but she will need support. I organized care, paid for rehabilitation, found a support group. But most importantly, I agreed with Lila. I can't live here forever, but I want to be a part of your life. If you let me, I will come every 2 weeks. We will call every day, and I will help as much as I can. "And if I want to move in with you?" she asked. "Then we will find a way," I said. "Not now, but when you are ready." Sarah returned home, but not forever. She said, "I don't know how it will be, but I want to try. Not for you, and for us. I don't know if it's going to work out. Will I be a father, a partner, a son, a husband, all at the same time? But I know one thing. I won't lose her again. Even if she forgets me, I will remind her. And every time I sit with Lila, listen to her talk about school, about photos, about dreams, I think, this is a fix of what should have been." And when she looks at me and says, "Dad, will you always be here?" I answer, "Yes. Even if I'm far away, I'm here."